Hey, welcome back to Refuge Training Videos. This one, if you have not watched our philosophy video or the student leadership video, you might want to go check those out before you watch this one. This video is about Refuge mentors, and it is the bread and butter of our adult ministry within the student ministry. What is a Refuge mentor? The role is responsible for connecting and hanging out with students, investing in their lives, and being a consistent presence in their walk. Just making sure I'm recording. It is about connecting with students, obviously, investing in their lives and being consistent in presence in their walk. Here's what I try to tell people that are mentoring. I want students to not feel comfortable at church. I want them to feel at home. So there's a difference there, because if our goal is to make them comfortable, we will not disciple them. We will not call them out when they need calling out. We're not going to do the hard work of becoming a mentor, a parent, an adult in their life. But if our goal is to make them feel at home, well, that's a whole nother ballgame. We want them to feel comfortable. We want them to come to the church or coming to the host homes and feel at home, that they are where they belong. Again, Jesus let his disciples belong before they believed, and that's the goal of a mentor, is to make a student feel like they belong there, build a relationship so that you can help raise them up in the Lord. So our student leaders are obviously doing huge things, inviting their friends, discipling their friends, leading their friends to Christ. But when the crap hits the fan, students usually don't run to their student leaders. They might, and some of them probably will, but when they really need that wisdom and they need that feeling of safety, they are going to run to the mentors. They're going to run to me. They're going to run to the mentors, especially the people that they've built relationships with, that can help them guide them through the storm. So that's what mentors are. You're building a relationship, and just like the philosophy video, you're going to be making deposits, deposit, that when you need to, you can make a withdrawal in their life. And you can call them out and you can say, hey, let's level up, let's stand a little taller, let's act like men and women, not like boys and girls. Responsibility, actually, I always skip this part, but personality is engaging, okay? Dedicated and caring, okay? Those are huge, and I'm going to get into those a little bit here. And this is going to be, this is going to be a little longer video, but there's a lot to cover. Spiritual gifts is compassion, exhortation, and shepherding. So what is the responsibilities of a mentor? Be present, just like all the rest of them, but this one is huge. Don't just be a warm body, okay? Don't just kind of sit there. Be present, and I mean be present in their lives. If some of you want to go above and beyond the call of duty, go to your students' ball games. Be in the community, okay? We want the mentors to be the people that the students look up to and want to be like. And so in order for them to look up to you, you have to be present in their lives. I didn't put it on here, but you need to live a moral life. I know that's like, duh, but you need to live a moral life according to what the Bible says. Because if these students are looking up to you, then we want them to look up to you and model your behavior. So you need to live a moral life, you need to be a Christian, obviously, you need to understand the gospel, all those things. But be present, engage with students. Don't stand in the back of the room, okay? I know that this is kind of the normal for most student ministries, is that the students are in the seats and the parents just hang out in the back, because a lot of that comes from the adults and mentors don't want to infringe upon what is seen as the student's space. But here's the thing, as a mentor, you're supposed to be getting into their life. You're supposed to be building those relationships. So please don't stand in the back of the room during a Refuge event. Don't stand on the sidelines, okay? Don't just clump up and talk to conscious decision to go engage with students, sit with them, okay? You have my permission. In fact, I almost want to make it a rule that you don't stand in the back of the room. So engage with students, invest in students, okay? So here's what I'm going to talk about, long-term investments. Dedicated, that's why I needed that as a personality trait. Dedicated, because you are making a long-term investment. The ideal mentor would be with us for at least 6 to 7 years. And I know you're like, what? That's older than our church. But studies have shown that this is a long-term investment, okay? So imagine, think about money, right? So we've got your 401k or whatever it is, you know, invested in the stocks, invested in mutual funds, all your different annuities and whatnot, and you invest in it, and when things get rough, you know, in your own life, imagine pulling that out, pulling all your money out, and then waiting till the market recovers and you put it back in. All right, and then whenever things start to go down, you pull it out, right? And then you put it back in. You pull it out, you put it back in. That when storms and like hard times would come in the economy, that you would pull it out and put it back in, pull it out and put it back in. That goes against what all investors say, right? That even when the market goes down, you double down on your investment, right? So that you can catch the next wave, the next business cycle. Sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it hurts a lot to watch your investments, your monetary investments, go down. But it's in those moments that we actually need to double down and actually invest more. And it's the same way with mentoring a student's heart, is that storms are going to come. They're going to have down times, right? And your life is going to have down times. You're not going to want to go above and beyond and invest. You're going to want to hold up and be with your family and be by yourself. And there's a layer there that you need to put family first. I get that. But also as Christians, we're called to be salt and light. And so that means that we put others first. So we put God first, others second, and then ourselves last. And our family is in there with the others, obviously. But there's a healthy balance there. And realize that the enemy is going to attack you in this role. You are going to be attacked by the enemy, try to get you knocked off your horse, whatever it is, and you're going to feel the need to take a huge step back and quit investing in students. And it's probably going to happen right before a student needs you in their life. Just that's how the enemy works, okay? I'm not a prophet or anything, but that's how the enemy works. And so invest. This is a long-term investment. And so I'd like mentors, ideally, I know life happens, but I'd like Refuge mentors ideally to be 7 years. Why? Because you can take a kid from 6th grade to senior. And we're going to start doing these things called senior dinners. And we're going to recognize our seniors and love on them and send them out into the world. And it's at those senior dinners that you guys, the mentors, I'm going to have some of the students stand up and talk about those people that invested in their lives. That's when the payoff is going to happen. That's when the payoff is. So you got to think about this as a long-term investment that you might not see turn around immediately. You might see actually your money value, or not money value, your time value and everything go down just like, you know, the markets. So we've really got to switch mindsets in this area. All of us do, myself included, that not just looking for the short-term growth and gain and whatnot, but we are making long-term investments in the future of the students and in the church. Help with setup and teardown. Enlist student help, okay? Oops, I erased that. Anyway, enlist student help, okay? Don't just think you have to do it by yourself, okay? I want you to be involved in the setup and teardown, all right? But also, I'd rather you get more students involved, you know? Many hands make the work light. So, help with setup and teardown. Especially pour into assigned student leaders, okay? So, for middle school, you're gonna, if you are a man, you are going to probably be assigned to young men that are student leaders, and they are going to be leading a boys' small group. Excuse me. If you're a woman, you're probably going to be assigned a couple of young women who are going to be student leaders that are going to be leading a girls' small group for middle school. For high school, you're going to be assigned a pair or even 3 small group leaders in a home, and it will be your home. You're the host home, and you need to be pouring into those student leaders especially. Okay, so these are the ones that show the desire to be more with their life, and so we want to invest in them especially. So take them out for ice cream, live life with them, go to their ball games, all that stuff. Help with follow-up. Okay, so the ministry is getting so huge that I can't, and it wouldn't even be worth it. Well, it would be worth it, but it wouldn't be as effective if I made all the phone calls for follow-up. So if a student comes to your home, you're a high school mentor, host home, and a student comes to your house and builds a relationship with the students, and you need to help your student leaders, your assigned student leaders, follow up with who's coming and stuff. So that's going to be huge. And then the last but not least, listening to the student-led study, keep the theology on track. Keep it on, and you don't have to know a whole bunch about the Bible to do this. You have to keep them on track to the lesson, okay? Some tangents are good, and you can speak into those. God can do what He wants. So if the conversation's going in a direction, people have questions, help answer those questions, and help the student leaders answer those questions. But if it starts to get too far off track, you need to bring them back. So keep theology on track, deal with discipline issues. High school groups, you're probably not going to have any of that. I'm almost going to guarantee that you're going to I didn't have any last year, let me say it that way. With the middle school, you might have some discipline issues, but most of the time it's going to be talking out a term. So you're kind of keeping stuff going. And the student leaders will do a little bit of the discipline with the middle schoolers because they kind of have that I'm over you, I'm older than you, I'm wiser than you kind of effect. And so they'll corral the kids as well. But if there's something real bad, you need to step in, obviously. I would say that if you have a student in the middle school or even in the high school that is just being a huge major problem, don't just call them out in front of their friends. This is the difference between a child and an adult, right? I wouldn't call out any one of you right in the middle of everybody and say, you need to stop what you're doing and blah, 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 and just embarrass you in front of everybody. Okay, so if I wouldn't do it to another adult, why would I do it to a teenager, a young adult? I wouldn't. So I try to, as much as I can, address it in kind of a smiley way. If they're not getting the hints, I say, hey, let's go chat, and I'll pull them aside and talk to them separate. Very rarely do you need to really just embarrass somebody so that they get the point. Almost never. Most students respond well to you take them out into the hallway or go on a walk with them, whatever it is, and talk about their life, but also say, hey, I can't have you being a jerk. I can't have you picking on somebody. A useful tactic is actually to be like, hey, can you be my helper? Can you help? And I'll teach the student leaders all this as well. Can you be my helper and try to get the conversation going in the right direction? And a lot of times if you just give a student, especially a middle schooler, a job, they will stand up. It's that significant task thing. They feel important. And so, yeah. Again, Refuge mentors. This is huge. There is another little category besides the middle school and high school. There's our rec mentors. And our responsibilities for a rec mentor is going to be, during middle school and United Nights, help set up the games and the after activities, and attend and help with any sporting social events. So, again, you're going to be helping run the games. Games are a huge way to build relationships, and so those mentors are going to help facilitate those games. So it falls underneath the mentors umbrella because you're going to be building relationships as well. So there's middle school mentors, high school mentors. High school is going to be in host homes. Middle school is going to be on those Wednesday nights like I talked about in the scheduling video. And then the rec mentors is going to be at middle school nights and United Nights and at special events. So there you have it. I know this is a long video, but I think it's really necessary that we get our minds straight about what we're doing. So onward. Thanks for watching this video.